Do you sometimes feel controlled by your turbulent emotions, tossed around in a raging storm, at the mercy of anger, anxiety, grief, or desire? Most of us are slaves to our feelings, reacting impulsively and irrationally in the heat of the moment. But there is a way to become the calm captain of your inner ship. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers profound teachings to master your mindset and achieve unshakable inner peace during emotionally demanding situations. Next are the Stoic philosophies to becoming emotionally stable. From them, you will have a blueprint to forge an emotional fortress within yourself. 1. Separate external events from your reactions. The unhappy derive their misery from the act of rebellion, not from external circumstances. Seneca. Most people make the mistake of thinking external events directly cause their emotional turmoil. We curse the traffic jam for making us angry, or blame the rude coworker for ruining our mood. But the Stoics reveal the liberating truth. While we cannot control external circumstances, we have complete power over how we perceive and respond to them. All anger, sadness, or anxiety arises from our judgments about reality, not reality itself. Imagine two people cut off in traffic. One responds with road rage, shouting profanities and pounding the steering wheel. They judge this as an unacceptable offense, deserving outrage. Another simply shakes their head and carries on with their day. They judge it as a minor, inevitable inconvenience, not worth getting upset over. Same external event, completely different internal reactions based on opposite perceptions. By separating the objective facts from our subjective judgments about them, we regain control. Events cannot upset us without our permission. We alone give them meaning. Become an observer of your thoughts and challenge irrational beliefs fueling dysfunction. 2. Distinguish what you can control from what you cannot. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Epictetus. So much angst stems from fixating on things outside our control while neglecting the only thing we truly govern, our own thoughts, judgments, and actions. The Stoics drive home this distinction ruthlessly, directing our efforts inward to our ruling mind while letting go of craving to manipulate people, circumstances, and outcomes externally. Consider romantic rejection as an example. The vain person rages and lashes out, consumed with hurt pride and anger at the rejecting party, factors completely beyond their control. The Stoic instead reflects inward, asking themselves, did I act with virtue and stay true to my values regardless of the outcome? If so, I have no reason for shame or regret. They accept what they cannot change with equanimity. By constantly reminding yourself of the critical diff between what you can directly influence, your intentional choices, and what you cannot, most everything else, you'll stop wasting finite time and energy on fruitless struggles and counterproductive angst. You'll become emotionally bulletproof. 3. Develop 360-degree emotional awareness. A man must keep a double watch over himself, first to control his emotions from their inception forward, and second, to fortify and reclaim his mind from plausible but deceptive impressions. Marcus Aurelius. At the root of most suffering lies a lack of self-awareness. Our thoughts and subsequent emotions rage through our consciousness completely unchecked, amplified by judgments we've blindly accepted as true since childhood. To achieve equanimity, we must develop a panoramic awareness of our inner landscape, proactively watching for the origin seeds of dysfunctional thoughts and feelings, then calmly examining beliefs that give them air. Rather than suppressing emotions, we study their roots with curiosity, not aversion. Picture a soldier keeping vigilant watch on the periphery, mind constantly scanning for any disturbance, thoughts or physical sensations that could snowball into negativity. At the first sign, they disarm it through reason and logic. Is this fear irrational despair or legitimate risk requiring action? Am I judging this person's actions through a negatively distorted lens? By peering into the depths of your psyche, you disempower destructive thought patterns before they metastasize into crippling emotions. You cut the roots of reactivity and remain the imperturbable eye of the storm. 4. Contemplate your cosmic insignificance. You are but a tiny speck in the vastness of the universe. Live like one as nature intended, humbly. Marcus Aurelius. We often become emotionally derailed by an overinflated sense of self-importance. When our expectations or ego identities are challenged, we erupt into indignation, furiously defending our entrenched beliefs about how things should be. But what if our sense of entitlement and narrative scripts dissolved under the awesome scale of the cosmos? The Stoics prescribed frequently contemplating our cosmic insignificance to achieve rational self-humility. Our lives are but tiny sparks flaring in the boundless ocean of space and time. Such a realization shatters any delusory beliefs that we are special, that events should unfold perfectly according to our whims, or that we deserve incalculable good fortune. From this vast perspective, frustrations over traffic jams, romantic rejections, or workplace slights simply evaporate. We realize we are but tiny, temporary beings on an infinitesimal rock hurtling through a stupendously indifferent universe. By relinquishing our arrogant self-conceptions, we find unshakable humility and acceptance. 5. Embrace Stoic fatalism and gratitude. It is better to conquer grief than to deceive it. Seneca. Many become enslaved by rejecting reality as it is, childishly wishing or demanding circumstances were different than the cosmic design has rendered. But the Stoics teach us radical acceptance. Our resistance only amplifies suffering, while fully embracing what is with humility and gratitude sets us free. When faced with a grave diagnosis, tragic loss, or unchangeable fate, we must resign ourselves to the inevitability, strength, and impartiality of nature's course. The universe is change, wrote Marcus Aurelius. Life itself is but what you dwell upon. By judging and resisting, we invite perpetual anguish, but by bowing to the natural flow of impermanence, we find deep serenity. Imagine a terminally ill patient in constant anxiety and resentment versus one who accepts their destiny with reverent fatalism. The former fruitlessly rails against their fate, damning the cruel injustice and what-ifs. The latter feels profoundly grateful for the miraculous gift of existence, savoring every remaining breath as a gracious act of nature's majesty. By yielding completely to reality through reasoned choice, not bitter resignation, we attain indomitable peace. We nurture appreciation for each fragile moment, knowing our cosmic blink is already an incomprehensible miracle amidst infinity. 6. Internalize amor fati, a love of one's fate. Whatever happens at all, it was always going to happen this way, and you will derive greatness from the ragtag. Marcus Aurelius. Central to Stoicism is the principle of amor fati, a love of one's fate. Rather than moaning in victimhood about our circumstances, we must strive to not only accept, but revere them unconditionally as perfectly unfolding expressions of nature's unfolding design. Consider physical pain, an inevitable facet of our mortal coil. The common default is to resist, tense against it, and dwell in resentful loathing. Yet the sage recognizes pain as simply a neutral force, only as unbearable as our judgments make it. Rather than thrashing against nature's course, they yield into the pain, seeing it as a catalytic initiation to unlock deeper appreciation for ordinary pleasures we take for granted. By developing an unwavering devotion to one's destiny, not only do we experience peace, but situations that once drained us become opportunities for growth. Each apparent misfortune or setback gets alchemically transmuted by a higher perspective into blessings to embrace gratefully. Where others go blind with rage or depression, we perceive sacred lessons to metabolize into wisdom. No matter how excruciating or unjust circumstances appear, our unruly emotions stem from nothing more than distorted, entitled judgments. By loving our fate absolutely, we cease leaking energy into counterproductive angst and remain free, joyous, and unstoppable warriors. 7. Practice negative visualization. He robs present ills of their power, who has perceived their coming beforehand. Seneca. A powerful Stoic exercise to fortify your equanimity is negative visualization, vividly and repeatedly imagining losing what you currently have. Dwell on the prospect of your possessions being taken, your health failing, loved ones perishing. Let the sting of these losses permeate your mind. Why would one willingly entertain such bleak scenarios? Because negative visualization accomplishes two things. First, it extinguishes anxiety about losing your current fortunes as you've already grieved their theoretical loss. Second, it instills profound gratitude for what you still possess in the present moment. Like exposing yourself to a small dose of snake venom builds antibodies against the real thing. Negative visualization makes you emotionally bulletproof against life's inevitable blows. With the sting of future suffering accepted, you remain grounded and appreciative when the hypothetical becomes real. 8. Fulfill your unique role in the cosmic drama. No role is so well suited to philosophy as the one you happen to be stuck with right now. Marcus Aurelius. We are all actors playing fated roles in the great cosmic drama of the universe's unfolding. Yet so many of us fumble our lines or lament our seemingly insignificant parts. The Stoics remind us that only by wholeheartedly embracing and embodying our assigned roles can we achieve excellence. Whether your role is investment banker, farmer, or parent, there is no greater or lesser part. Each is indispensable for the play's harmonious whole. To shun your role out of ego or boredom dishonors the playwright, but to perform with committed excellence fulfills your sacred cosmic purpose. Visualize standing ovations from existence itself when you wholly inhabit your part, no matter how grand or humble. Any misfortune or limitation gets transcended by focusing only on what your role demands right now. Emotions settle as you align with your destiny's inexorable current. 9. Cultivate an immortal mindset. Nothing, to my mind, is better proof of a well-ordered soul than the ability to remain in a single, wholly self-contained state and to move calmly through life by the same unchanging principle. Seneca. While we are mere mortal beings, the Stoics teach cultivating an immortal mindset, seeing ourselves as sacred vessels carrying wisdom into eternity rather than transient personalities grasping at empty pleasures. Change your locus from chasing circumstantial highs to embodying an imperishable, transcendent source of truth. Imagine beholding your greatest role models or historical sages. What united them was their embodiment of imperturbable virtue, grace under fire and inner freedom, even when stripped of worldly fortunes. They seem to access a realm beyond temporality, unshakable by ephemeral concerns. To achieve this mindset, reflect on those who will memorialize your essence after you're physically gone. What deathless message, ethos, or spirit will they celebrate? Let this vision guide your responses to each situation more than animalistic cravings or reptilian impulses. You become the eye of the storm while turbulence rages around you. 10. Remain in the present moment. So much of our emotional turmoil stems from obsessively replaying past regrets or imagining future worries. We churn endlessly about what we could have done differently or what might go wrong down the line. But the antidote to this suffering is to firmly anchor ourselves in the present moment through mindfulness. The practice is simple. When you notice your mind wandering into the dreary revisionism of the past or fretful hypotheticals of the future, gently but firmly guide your attention back to your breath and surrounding senses. Feel the air entering your nostrils, the pressure of your feet on the floor, the sounds and sights around you. This present reality is all that exists. The past is an illusion created by memory, while the future is just a projection of the mind. By staying rooted in the here and now through concentrated effort, you sidestep most anxiety and remorse. Difficult emotions can't gain traction when you refuse to lend them any energy or narrative. You simply witness them arise like clouds passing over the sun, substantial yet empty and fleeting. Their transience becomes obvious, diffusing the instinctive reactivity fueling our suffering. A profound stillness and acceptance suffuses your being. 11. Understand that it will eventually pass. Give it time. Time is a river, a violent torrent of events, and as soon as something appears, it is swept away, and another thing takes its place, and this too will be swept away. Marcus Aurelius. One of our core delusions is the dream of permanence, that pleasant experiences, relationships, and circumstances can be frozen forever in a static state of perfection. But the wise know this is a childlike fantasy born of our terror of impermanence. The truth is that everything is fleeting, a constant process of arising, climaxing, and dissolving. No thing, feeling, or situation is meant to endure indefinitely. We must become intimate with this ceaseless unraveling of creation and destruction, rather than clinging in vain to shadows. The highs of romantic passion must crest and settle into companionship. Empires, careers, and even our very lives all eventually crumble to dust. And while that evanescence is poignant, it's only tragic if we furiously resist it. When you remind yourself that ecstatic joy, intense anger, or profound sorrow are all temporary guests, you can experience them with graceful acceptance as phases in nature's cosmic rhythms. There's no need to shove emotions away or indulge them obsessively, letting them engulf you. You feel them with curious detachment until they organically dissipate like storms passing through. Suffering arises not from the transient emotion itself, but our resistance to its passing. Flow with the stream of constant flux. 12. Feeling is not failing. Allow emotions fully. What is deeply human is inextricable from pain and vulnerability. Seneca. A common pitfall for those seeking equanimity is to conflate healthy detachment with suppressing emotions entirely. But this only creates further internal conflicts and blockages. The path is not to angrily force ourselves to be robots, but to allow each feeling to unfurl fully with radical acceptance. As Rumi wrote, "This being human is a guest house." It's a natural tendency for many, especially men, to adopt a tough exterior, stiff upper lip stance where sensitive emotions like sadness, fear, or tenderness get ruthlessly extinguished under the guise of being strong. We don bulletproof veneers that make us emotionally constipated, seething with repressed turmoil. But the truth is, attempting to outright vanquish universal human experiences simply breeds inauthenticity and deeper anguish. A far braver endeavor is to fully feel and alchemize those energies into wisdom, using them as guides pointing us back to our intrinsic wholeness. The strong can remain vulnerable, even as we weather sorrow with elegant resilience. When we quit judging emotions as unbearable cataclysms, we naturally let them arise and fall away, like clouds temporarily shading the sun's radiance. We feel them completely, then release their residue back into the Tao with compassionate understanding. This emotional flexibility, not unfeeling rigidity, is the heart of true invincibility. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.